Okay, this is a little unplanned discussion of how I felt during this Sarah J. Maas Call Her Daddy episode. So I want to start this off with, I have read Crescent City and also ACOTAR. I have not read Throne of Glass. Something that's always disconnected for me as a reader is the actual author and like the books. It was so interesting to watch Sarah talk about each of these characters. Honestly, my biggest takeaway from this entire thing was understanding of Silver Flames so much more. So I guess I'll share a little bit of my story. I've really only been reading romantasy for Sarah since like I think 2024. So ironically, she was talking about how mental health was kind of the driver for a lot of these books, and Crescent City was kind of her passion project. Ironically, I first picked up Crescent City when I was going through the beginning of my mental health struggles. The time I picked up that first book was when in my life everything seemed crazy. I literally needed an escape, and I was having back-to-back panic attacks almost every single day. I read the entirety of Crescent City, really loved these books, and I enjoyed Bryce and I enjoyed Hunt. And I was like, okay, like maybe I'll stick to like romantasy. Flash forward to last year, 2025, I started ACOTAR and I never looked back. Like, I'm telling you, I started these books in like July and I was finished by November. Like, that being said, timeline wise, during ACOTAR, like when I was reading the first book, I had just been prescribed my anxiety medication. And what's really funny is hearing Sarah talk about how, writing Silver Flames was completely different because that was when she started therapy and when she really started figuring out her mental struggles. Because as a reader, I went through such a similar timeline. And, obviously these books will always mean one thing to the actual author herself, but her struggles came through on paper, as crazy as it sounds. And reading Nesta during that time in my life, when I finally made it to Silver Flames, I was stable on my medication. I got emotional at that portion of the podcast because I was like, wow. Avatar for Sarah was kind of her timeline of figuring out her mental health. And ironically, I read these not knowing that I was going through this similar timeline. All in all, I found it so special that these books were there for me during my journey, but also there for Sarah during hers. And yeah, also learning a lot about Feyre's pregnancy and why it was written like that. I just every bit of this interview I fear I've eaten up, every single part of it. Although hot take, I'm not a fan of Bryce and Hunt.